Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, October 6th. The time is 5:30 p.m., and I hereby call to order the meeting of the Champaign Unit 4 Board of Education. Ms. Sowers, would you please call the roll of attendance?
Miss Ahmad.
Here.
Miss Armstrong.
Here.
Miss Arnold.
Here.
Mr. Bruno.
Here.
Mr. Hendricks. Miss Holder. Dr. Kang.
Here.
Okay, 5 of you are here.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, or, sorry, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, okay. The agenda is approved. A closed session in accordance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act is necessary to consider litigation. Is there a motion that we adjourn to closed session?
So move. Second.
All those in favor? I'm sorry,
This
we
is
need a roll call vote.
So this was Arnold and Armstrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Sowers, would you please call the roll?
Miss Arnold.
Yes.
Miss Armstrong.
Yes.
Miss Ahmed.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Dr. Kang.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We will retire to closed session now and be back soon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first apologize for how long you all have been waiting here. I can assure you that the board, while we were in our closed session, we remain mindful of the time, and we tried to use it as efficiently as possible, but it did take a while for us to complete our discussion in the back. We were joined in our closed session this evening by our attorney and by Mr. James Guerra, who's seated at the table in front of me. He is the CEO and founder of a consulting agency called JG Consulting. This agency was retained by the Unit 4 School District recently to conduct our superintendent search. About a week ago, his firm found itself in the national spotlight when one of the superintendents that his firm worked to find at the Des Moines, Iowa School District was taken into custody by ICE, and some of you may have read those news stories. It caused enough of a concern for members of our board that we asked Mr. Guerra to come up from Texas. He graciously agreed and flew in today to be with us for our meeting tonight. So we've met with him in the back and we've posed some questions to him, and we've asked him to come out here and answer some of our questions in public. We can't ask him all of the same questions because some of the information he shared with us in the back was privileged for a variety of reasons that can't be shared publicly out of concern for his clients. But Mr. Guerra, I would invite you now to, I think you are prepared to make a statement to the public who's watching, and we may ask you some questions after you're done. So the floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Chairman and distinguished members of the board. Thank you again for your time this evening. It's good to meet all of you in person for the first time. So also want to thank the community as well for being patient with us as we discussed a very sensitive matter. But for the record, my name is James Guerra. I'm the President CEO of JG Consulting. My firm is a nationally recognized executive search firm. We place superintendents, other executive leadership in school systems nationwide. So with the authority of our third-party counsel and the other groups that we're working with, I've prepared a brief statement. So if you wouldn't mind indulging me, I will read that just because I want to be sure that I articulate as many of the points that have been discussed tonight and what I'm authorized to share. So again, my name is James Guerra. I'm the President, CEO, founder of JG Consulting. Again, I want to echo my sentiments and give you the express gratitude for the opportunity to be here to discuss with the board and assist you as you go forward in this process of hiring a new superintendent for Champaign Unit 4 schools. At JG Consulting, we are proud of our extensive record of successfully supporting school districts across the nation in identifying candidates for the position of school superintendent and other related executive roles. Educating our young people is a tremendous responsibility, and we take very seriously the role we play in that process. In more than 1 decade-long history of doing this important work, we've completed 67 searches for superintendents and have assisted districts in hiring more than 200 others in executive roles. We've done this work in school systems as wide-ranging as those in Texas, our home state, to Boston. We've worked from Tacoma to Denver, from Kansas to New York, and many points in between. One of our searches, as mentioned tonight, the one involving the school district in Des Moines, Iowa, has been the subject of intense scrutiny and discussion of late. That sort of debate and discussion is healthy in a democracy. Most recently, the leaders of the school system in Des Moines have filed suit against my firm, JG Consulting. They are fully within their rights to do so. We likewise have rights, including the right to defend ourselves, which we fully intend to do. And I am limited in what I can say openly in this particular case. But I can tell you without reservation that we stand by our record and all of the work that we have done. That the district has decided to litigate about their choice of a candidate is unfortunate and unwarranted. We will answer those claims in a court of law. In the meantime, we stand ready to work with this board through the process of identifying, vetting, and hiring a new school superintendent for Champaign Unit 4 schools. And we certainly look forward to the opportunity. Thanks again for the opportunity to share my statement.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. I apologize, my microphone was off. Does any member of the board have any questions for Mr. Guerra? Ms. Ahmed.
Thank you, James, again for coming. We appreciate you making the trip. So given the ongoing litigation and the press around your company, how can you assure us at Unit 4 that we will get a fair chance and 100% of your attention? This search is really important to our district, and we want your assurance that you will, in what you will do.
Absolutely. So as of today, we have 3 superintendent searches that are being conducted across the country, 2 of which are in Texas and the one here locally. But our time and our energy will be dedicated to Champaign and our other 2 clients. We're not taking on any new partners during this time, but to take it a step further and to answer your question, we have also engaged with a different third-party background check provider referred to as a SureHire. And due to the recent matters at hand pertaining to Des Moines, we've even further broadened our background screening with the added features of I-9 referencing and E-Verify, which ordinarily is the responsibility of a school district, but we want to further enhance our background and vetting by utilizing those features as well.
You shared with us, obviously, certain documents that are not available for the public, including documents pertaining to background checks and such. Is it common practice within your industry that a search firm would employ a third party to do the background checks?
Absolutely. So that is the customary practice of all of the national search firms, not just my practice, but others, our counterparts, our peers, work with third parties to conduct background checks.
And many of the national firms have used the same background check firm that was involved in this?
That's correct.
So what is not privy to the public, but documents related to that background search, one of the reasons that we liked your firm and hired you is because your motto was, no skeletons, we're going to bring forth red flags. Everything that you had access to as a firm, did you bring that forth to the school district in Iowa prior to hiring the candidate?
Absolutely, 100%. The board of directors in Des Moines Public Schools had access in its entirety to the background report and the application materials, all of the artifacts that are required when a candidate applies to serve as a superintendent, regardless of its DMPS or Champaign. We do not deviate, and nor have we ever in more than 11 years of operation from that best practice.
And as a hiring firm, you only know as much as what the background check firm that you've hired gives to you. Is that?
That's correct. So we pay for the service. It's a third party, as you acknowledged. It's a different company, not affiliated under the umbrella of my firm, but that is the sole purpose of their organization, is to vet, screen, and conduct thorough background checks. So the fee that we incurred was for them to produce the report, which was then in turn furnished to Des Moines Public Schools.
And then just to clarify, you talked about the I-9 and the E-Verify. The I-9, am I correct, that verifies citizenship and ability, or legal authorization to work in the United States?
That's correct.
And what is the E-Verify?
E-Verify is another national screening mechanism. In some instances, it is not required under certain statutes. In my understanding, it's not currently required in the state of Iowa. But as an employer, we are authorized. We have the credential. If you look at our website, you'll see the logo E-Verify. So we have the ability, if I am to hire additional full-time staff, they would go through the E-Verify system, in addition to the other mechanisms that are used to screen and vet candidates if they're applying for employment.
And as a practice in this district, generally that kind of E-Verify I-9 would be done after somebody's been offered a job, when you're doing the fingerprinting and everything else. It's not something that the background check, can you explain what's generally in a background check prior to this?
Sure. So for us, and again, I'm going to refer back to our third party at the time, since we're discussing Baker Eubanks and Des Moines Public Schools. When Baker Eubanks was engaged during this time frame, they're verifying academic credentials, credit history. They'll find things such as unpaid parking tickets, if they're speeding tickets, other things that are associated with where he or she might have lived in different states. So in this particular case, the superintendent worked as a representative of multiple school organizations. So they're verifying his academic credentials in the different institutions he worked in, but also the different municipalities and states. And it's criminal record checks as well. But because we are not the hiring agency, the local education agency or the school district, we are not the party responsible for fingerprinting and traditionally I-9 verification. However, with everything that has transpired in the last 10 days, we have now added new features, even though it's not technically our responsibility. We will be conducting I-9 verification of candidates when they apply for any position going forward for a superintendent role that my firm manages, including the Verify process.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Arnold.
Is there any concern that we should be feeling for candidates applying for our open position when it opens up, given, just the light around this situation right now and the scrutiny that, your firm is under?
No, I would say with 100% confidence that our firm is still highly regarded. We have the 2 other superintendent searches that are active right now, and those applications are currently open. So in a very short period of time, we've received a healthy quantity of applicants for those roles. We have other executive level roles. I mentioned 200 plus executive level searches that we've conducted across 23 states. So our reputation speaks for itself. We haven't had any of our internal brain trusts, the practitioners who work as repurposed recovering superintendents, as I like to call them, run for the hills. They're all standing by us. And I also think that's just a testament to our reputation. You guys have decided and have chosen to stick by us. Our other partners have also decided to stick through us, recognizing that this is an unfortunate circumstance. But candidates recognize our skill set, our talent, and we have a good track record, an excellent track record, barring the pending litigation with Des Moines. But I fully expect you're going to have a high caliber of talent, and I'll know that our job has been done with excellence. When you tell me after you interview your semifinalists, like, wow, this is really hard. I wish I could hire all 2 or all 3 of my semifinalists, but can only hire 1. So I'll know at that point that we've exceeded and achieved our goal.
And then final question. Also, I heard today an update from Stacy that we've gotten good responses on the open survey. Like 500 or so have already
think
responded.
As of this weekend, we're approaching almost 600 survey responses. I don't know the exact number, but Jacob and Lisa, my colleagues, can verify the exact quantity.
And then can you take just one moment to speak to something that Justin and I really enjoyed when we interviewed your firm was the thing that set you apart from everybody else was your ability, kind of that matrix, you give a subjective rating to the different candidates. Can you just speak to that? And tonight you also mentioned you're adding something, you're expanding on that. Can you just speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're referring to as a matrix, internally we refer to it as a nominal grouping technique. So once the leadership profile is established and with the community's input, your input as a board, we identify the attributes, the characteristics, the traits, and the qualities. I call it the North Star. That will eventually be the rubric that the board will use to evaluate the candidates that apply. In addition to the leadership profile, we do a number of things. We have a proprietary software. Again, in the spirit of vetting, this software is designed to verify academic outputs of a candidate and where she or he might have worked. So let's just say they're next door in a neighboring district. If the candidate on his or her resume says that they've moved the academic needle for third grade reading and math by X percentile, our software will verify and create a scorecard using all the disparate accountability data from across the U.S. to demonstrate the academic growth in certain subdomains and certain demographics that we've created. And over the last 3 years, we spent considerable time and energy and resources to build this. Along with your district, the other two will be the first to utilize this new software. Other firms, other school districts can even license, subscribe to it as a standalone, but it is proprietary. Because it's not enough these days just to look at a resume or even listen to an on-demand video, which you'll also have access to, the videos that are required by the candidates. We want to ensure that the work that they have done over a period of their storied careers has demonstrated success. And student outcomes is the best measure of success for an organization, especially for the students that you serve, whether they pursue post-secondary education or not, but other pathways. This will at least help you and help us identify who has truly moved the needle for student growth. So that's the other software in addition to the matrix that you're referring to.
Mr. Hendricks?
Thank you for being here. I just have one question. Can you reassure the public that potential candidates of color, including those of immigration status, will not be turned away when applying for the Unit 4 superintendent process?
We will cast a wide net. Obviously, we're going to do our due diligence. I mentioned earlier that we will have the other features associated with our background checks. But in our application, you'll see a statement at the bottom of the application. If a candidate were interested in reviewing it, the certain disclaimers that you would see on any employment statement. Again, we work at the will of the board. So you, as our client, are who we answer to. The candidates are not a part of our stable. We're not recycling candidates from one district to the next. Every candidate will have to go through the same process as his or her peer, colleague, counterpart. So it will be a level playing field for every single candidate that applies. Yes, sir.
Dr. King?
Thank you for being here, and thank you for answering our questions. I just have a question around for the community and educators. How can you assure them that, I think some of this has somewhat been answered, but that we will still be able to receive a large pool of candidates, but also, in addition, what Justin had asked, not deterring people of color, not deterring people who are marginalized from continuing to apply, also giving the community and educators how can they convey what is important to them besides filling out the survey of what we're really hoping to find in a superintendent search?
Sure, thank you, Dr. King. So if I may work backwards from your set of questions, we still have every intention of being here, boots on the ground, within the coming weeks to engage the community. So it is critically important that we hear from everyone, whether it be through the survey, through our in-person meetings, both at large scale, I say macro and micro, but really referring to our large group meetings, the town hall meetings, but other in-person meetings. And we'll make ourselves available. So it'll be myself, Dr. Weaver, who is my peer and counterpart in this work, and of course the full-time staff. And when I speak publicly, I give people my personal cell phone number, and it's the only phone that I use. So at any given time, if anyone feels more comfortable speaking with me directly or offline, we'll make ourselves available. This is such an important job that we want the community to see their words, to see that their voices were heard and that they're reflected in the leadership profile, because it is a collective effort. It's all hands on deck. And anytime we present a synopsis of what we've gathered from the community engagement meetings, we present that artifact publicly as if we're here in the same room. You would see the summary report on the screens. We'll go through it page by page. We'll identify common themes and elements that are consistent with what we've heard from the collective community feedback. In addition to that, we'll disaggregate the data from the surveys, all in the spirit of developing a leadership profile. And for us, that's synonymous with the job description. And all to your first part of your question, we are a minority-owned search firm, and that's clear. That's stated on our website. That is my background, my family, my upbringing, my heritage. We are a very diverse team of individuals, and I stand proud by that. And so we're not going to change our stripes. That will remain consistent. And then I think that also helps us to continuously broaden the talent pool with a tremendous group of individuals for you to consider. And there's also some upcoming conferences that are taking place here in the near future. The Council of the Great City Schools, although you're not a member of that network, we are participating in that. Dr. Hinojosa serves as the superintendent of residence for the Council of Great City Schools. This year it's being held in Philadelphia. So I will be there in person with an opportunity to recruit talent. But the job recruitment has already started. Everyone that's a part of our network has seen our newsletters. They can see what we're publishing online. And so there is eagerness for this role. You're a great school board, and that's really what a superintendent wants to see and they want to know. Oftentimes people think, well, it's the salary, it's this or it's that. The first question any good search firm will get is, tell me about the school board. Are they in unison? Are they unified? Are they coalesced around the same mission and the vision of this work? And if the answer is yes, that's an easy sell. It's when there's divisions that makes it difficult. So I appreciate the unity that you have amongst each other, because that makes our jobs easier to recruit.
Ms. Armstrong.
Thank you. And I echo, thank you for being here, and it's a hot seat. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Weaver during my part of being interviewed, and I think a familiar face to our community and understanding our community, it was awesome. Hearing you speak, there's a term used medically, AMA, against medical advice, that patients can leave a hospital and ignore what a doctor is telling them to do. I'm not sure if there's no way for you to have taken your rubric and said, here's what we recommend, and they go against your advice. Do you track that as a firm? Do you go back and look at results where they don't listen to you and have an outcome rubric for that?
Yeah, so we still have those artifacts, and that's, I think, potentially will be used in pending litigation if it goes that far. But, if their interest, and if it's this particular school board was interested in hiring a candidate other than somebody we've recommended, it's entirely their will. We are not the hiring entity. I think oftentimes it's the misnomer that the search firm hires the superintendent. We are bringing forward qualified vetted candidates based off of the information that we have ascertained, the background checks and so forth. But the school board ultimately has the authority to hire its one employee. And in this case, the school board's one employee is the superintendent. That is universal, that's consistent nationwide, unless in local policy you have other deviations from that. But in this instance, I can go back, but again, because of pending litigation, I can't get into specifics. But if it surfaces, then I think that's for all public consumption to know.
Mr. Guerra, I have a few questions for you. First, you said that you bring qualified, vetted candidates to the board. You brought Mr. Roberts to the board in Des Moines, Iowa, and he was not qualified. But you had run him through a national background search firm, Baker Eubanks, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How much did you pay Baker Eubanks to do the background search on Mr. Roberts?
Yeah, so if my memory serves me correctly, it's somewhere in the ballpark of $1,000 to $1,500 per candidate. And ordinarily, when you engage in a third party, you have multiple semifinalists, so there's 2 or 3. And so depending on that time, if there was volume discounts, it could have been less, it could have been more, but on average, I would say it's fair to assume it was between $1,000 and $1,500.
But it's not $29.95.
No.
It's more than $1,000.
That's correct.
Okay. And how many other firms how many other firms like yours are there operating in the United States, if you had to guess?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would identify there are 5 other major national search firms.
Under a dozen.
Yeah, under a dozen.
Do you think many of them, do you know whether many of them use Baker Eubanks or have historically used Baker Eubanks?
At the time, I knew of 2 others, and we're all collegial. You know, I'm friendly with the CEOs of the other groups, and I know of one for certain. But today, fast forwarding to 2025, I couldn't attest to whether they still do or not.
But at the time you were using Baker Eubanks, that was industry standard. There was nothing unusual about using them to perform this task.
No, not at all. They're a nationally recognized outfit, and that's who we entrusted to conduct the background checks and paid for.
Is that standard practice to entrust some third party to do this work, or do you have some competitors who do all of this in-house?
Not to my knowledge. It's pretty extensive and arduous process. So if you think of just the verification of academic credentials alone, the criminal history checks across different state lines, municipalities, that's not a skill set or a service or product that we could offer. To me, that seems like a full-time operation.
So you hire a specialized firm who holds themselves out as being a background search expert to do that portion of an executive search, correct?
That's correct. And since then, we've moved on. We have a different group I referenced earlier, AssureHire. They're part of the Mitra Tech umbrella association, but that's their function in representing us.
And while the background search in the case in Des Moines was imperfect, it did reveal some inconsistencies, correct?
That's
Between the
accurate.
candidates' alleged credentials and reality, right?
According to the outputs, yes, sir. But I can't get into the specifics.
I
because
understand,
of the
I
litigation.
understand. But there was one discrepancy, an academic discrepancy that you identified before the board took action in hiring this gentleman, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's been reported in national news outlets.
It has.
Over the last week. Okay. And so when you present a school board with candidates for hire for an important position like superintendent, do you break them, do you list them in order of your preference, or do you break them down into tiers?
No, great question. So again, to dispel any misconceptions, when we present candidates, the school board in every scenario from this very moment to our 11-year history ago, no information is withheld. So the school board has access to all of the candidate materials, their application materials, including letters of interest, their resumes and/or vitas, their transcripts, their verification forms, their on-demand videos, any other supplemental artifact that he or she might provide. Supplemental meaning it could be like a 90-day entry plan, something else that they produce that's not required. So when we present the candidate information, we're looking at those attributes that I referenced in the leadership profile. So if the candidates demonstrate that they closely align to the qualities, the traits of the leadership profile, they generally fall into the tiered group. So there's tier 1 and then there's tier 2, essentially. And I'm just putting it in simple terms. Tier 2 is the delta. So it's those that closely fit in the tier 1 and tier 2. But again, in the spirit of transparency, we don't withhold any of the information. Our school board partners see every single detail that we receive from candidates, regardless of the role they're applying for. Superintendent, chief academic officer. We're finalizing an athletic director search right now in South Texas, so we approach the work in the same manner.
But you do present the candidates, the finalists, into 2 tiers, essentially. That's your common practice.
We do.
And in Des Moines,
We don't rank them per se in either tiers.
Understood.
Yeah.
In Des Moines, the person that they hired was not in your top tier candidates pool. He was in the lower of the 2 tiers.
I wasn't there for the vetting and the screening, so I can't specifically attest to what tier he was in, but he was presented along with all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I don't, because of the pending litigation, I don't know what will be furnished
I understand.
publicly.
Okay. You mentioned that you work with 3 or 4 school districts at a time. And in the last week, your firm has been put into the national spotlight, probably against your wishes. But here you are. I'd like you to talk about whether you've lost any clients and whether anybody else has stuck with you, and describe for us those circumstances, if you would, please.
Sure. So to date, we've lost one client, a Texas-based organization. The other superintendent searches that I referenced, they are in their infant stages, much like our work together, and they have decided to stay with us. So there are 3, including yours, superintendent searches that we're conducting. So we've lost one, but I can tell you, since I guess the 10-day, I don't know what day number we're on, it seems like they're all kind of running together since the news broke of this particular matter. But yes, we are in the national spotlight. I've acknowledged that. We've had our public statements. I'm here tonight acknowledging it. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't forecast what the future holds, but I stand by my firm's best practice and will continue to do this work. And we're not going to deviate from the best practices because of this one particular matter.
And you mentioned one school district in Texas. I think you mentioned they're a very high-performing school district or nationally recognized. Can you talk about that briefly?
Sure, yeah, and they released a public statement. The school board, the Board of Trustees is what we refer to in many cases, school boards in Texas. This is the Eanes Independent School District. They're the highest rated school system in the state.
And what about them? They are one of your new clients, and
They are, and they're aware of this. We've had similar conversations. They released a public statement supporting our work. We're now in the process of receiving and vetting candidate applications, going through our period of time where the application portal is open.
And I just had one last question about the Des Moines School Board. So you identified this discrepancy in the academic history presented by the candidate. They elected to hire him anyway, and now of course, they have a problem now. But the president of the Des Moines School Board is running. She's a candidate right now for the United States Senate. Is that correct?
I believe so. That's what's been reported. I haven't had any correspondence with her directly or the board. They have their third-party counsel. We have ours. But I suppose if the reports that what you can read in media is accurate, then that would be the case.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you feel like the board hasn't asked that we should have asked? I'm sorry.
think so.
And Ms. Holder also has. I'm
I
sorry.
just have one more question to cover. And again, I know you can't speak directly about the background things, but we've seen a lot of things that have come up in the media about all sorts of charges and back charges, and we've had the opportunity to see some of the background check information. Some of those things, a good majority of those were not present on the background check. Is that correct?
That's correct.
They were either federally sealed. Do you know why they weren't present, or that's outside of that's a Baker Eubanks question?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, because some of this information was released publicly for the first time within the last, 4 business days, is my understanding, but never once appeared on the background report that was furnished and provided to us.
And obviously, assumingly in the previous school districts where this gentleman worked.
Also not flagged there either, at least according to his predecessor, the district that he left to join Des Moines Public Schools.
The only other comment I'll make is that, Mr. Guerra, for the time being, you have my confidence, and I think if any executive search firm in the country is concerned about letting something slip through the cracks at this point, it's probably yours. And you were invited here after we had announced our agenda. So you weren't on the agenda tonight officially, but we weren't taking any action tonight. So that's why we were allowed to have you speak and take our questions all within the confines of the Open Meetings Act. But like any vendor, we could part ways with you if a majority of our board members wished to. And our next meeting is in 2 weeks, and we could always call a special meeting. But thank you for answering our questions today. Coming up from Texas is, I think, an important sign of goodwill and dedication to the cause, and we appreciate you being here. And hopefully our relationship will continue, and we will find a great candidate for this very important job. Unless anybody else has anything else for Mr. Guerra, I'll let the gentleman make his way out. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time, and thanks again for your service to public education. Look forward to working alongside you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda this evening is public comment. We have a lectern here, as we do at every board meeting. The public is invited to take to the lectern. You have 3 minutes to address the board. I'm not inclined to give extensions of time, as is sometimes requested. But if you believe that you are entitled to an Americans with Disabilities Act accommodation, please identify that if you need to ask for additional time. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ms. Hart. I've been a part of this community for half a century or more. Champaign Unit 4 School District attendance boundaries are linked to housing policies. Champaign County is actively working to address the legacy of restrictive covenants. Our city council and the school district can collaborate on a joint declaration to promote socio-economic integration in our schools through joint meetings, public forums, shared strategic planning, cross-agency collaboration, and housing planning / attendance boundaries. Yes, the primary authority of the socioeconomic desegregation remedies rests with the school board, but effective implementation requires collaboration with the city to complete these specific tasks. I have a dream of a more inclusive Champaign school community, and that requires together we can accomplish great things. So together with the school government and the city government, working together in a joint declaration to promote socioeconomic integration in our schools that is long overdue. It affects thousands of children. Tony, I know that you started a group you were against the integration of the elementary schools, and you have done a lot for hundreds of students in our community, but your position right now, you can affect thousands of children in our community by working with the city and redrawing the attendance boundaries. Champaign-Urbana, many sources have already said we don't need to spend our tax dollars to try to figure it out. Champaign-Urbana is very diverse, yet socially, economically segregated. So we don't have to move through tax dollars to figure that out. You just have to go sit on a clinical couch at the psychiatrist's office because the data is there. It's clear. Our schools are, district attendance boundaries are considered socioeconomically segregated. So let's work together so that we can save thousands of children. The outcomes can be just through the roof, and it can just really better our whole entire community if you guys work together to redraw those lines. Thank you so much for your time. And all the critical thinking you did with this young man, do that critical thinking and get those lines redrawn so that our children, we can have better outcomes. I would love that critical thinking that you guys put together this evening to get those lines drawn. It's been decades. It's not rocket science. Use those critical thinking mechanisms that you've been using this evening to get this done. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, sir, just help yourself up to the microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, my name is Amir Marmachi, and I've been only for a month I've been a substitute teacher in this district. But I have to say I have for 2 decades I've been an educator from the time that I came to this country, to U of I, as a grad student, and I was a TA. And then I moved to Bloomington to be the adjunct professor at ISU, and taught there for 6 years until COVID removed my job there. And I had to leave the country for some personal reasons. But when I came back, I realized that that job is no longer there, so I started to be a substitute teacher. Now, today I'm here to ask for a little change in a policy that to some of us may seem such a negligible part of a policy, but to me it's a big deal, because it saddened my heart when a month ago I had to turn down a long-term sub position in this district against every cell of my body. And I'll tell you the reason here. Under the current policy, the higher daily rate begins on day 16 for a long-term substitute teacher, but the first 15 days, which are the 3 weeks, remain at the short-term rate, even if the assignment continues much longer. That structure unintentionally discourages substitutes from committing to long-term roles. In my case, I may take 3 or 4 long-term positions during a school year, because let's face it, the long-term subs are not designed to be permanent, right? They can last anywhere between 5 to 7 to 9 weeks at most, and eventually you have to go back to a daily sub, and then if you're lucky, you're going to be another long-term sub again. So several times a year you can expect to have a new long-term sub jobs, which under the current structure it means a setback, because now you're going to have another 3 weeks. It's like you get a good job and then you got to go back to being an apprentice, and then again and again and again. It's very disheartening. In my case, I may be able to take 3 or 4 long-term positions during a school year. Each time my pay resets to the short-term rate for the first 3 weeks. So I experienced that pay setback several times a year. But again, it's not financial. It's just emotional pain of feeling like, okay, I'm going backward. That was so unbearable to me, thinking about that prospect, that I had to turn down the long-term sub, even though I love to be a long-term sub, because that position allows me to know my students, make a difference in the lives of my students. Unlike a daily sub, let's face it, a daily sub is a babysitter. But a long-term sub gets to work with them, elevate the lives of their children. That's what I did in Chicago Western Suburbs as a long-term sub, and I love to do it here because I call Champaign home, because this is where I started in this country. And even though I live in Bloomington Normal still, I love to come back here. In the last month, I've been coming here more often than I took sub jobs in Bloomington Normal, just because I love this area. Again, Champaign is my home. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello. I am Cherie. I am here to express concern and advocate for stronger measures to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and staff. I want to address the physical safety. I am a TA in the district. I have been here 7 years. I've seen an increasingly amount of assaults on staff members, in particular TAs. We work alongside students most of their day, morning routines, transitions, lunch specials, recess, and more. And we're facing daily assaults by students with behaviors, as well as some of them with severe autism. We are not trained or certified to deal with these behaviors that are disruptive and consistently, and they leave TAs with markings on our bodies, or even sending some of us to the hospital. This makes it hard for us to provide the support that other students need, and it makes it a struggle every day to show up to a job that we love and we want to be here for. But I stood here in the same position 2 years ago, nearly, singing the same song, sharing the same message, after another incident that just recently happened to me on last Friday. My question is, how do the district plan to ensure the safety and protection for all staff? I'll end with saying we all want our students to feel safe, supported, and ready to learn. and I hope the board will consider these concerns as we continue working together for the best possible environment for every child. And that's it.
Would anybody else care to address the board tonight? New business. Ms. Moore, would you please give us the Celebrate Champaign presentation?
Good evening, board. It's time to celebrate Champaign. We have some good things happening in our district. And the first, Okay, guys, I'm going to need you in the back to help me out. Is it on? Oh, okay, they got me. And it's on, okay. All right, already. Okay, 12 of our Champaign Unit 4 students have been named as commended students in the 2026 National Merit Scholarship Program. This is big news. We are so proud of Safa, Jacob, Katharina, Rebecca, Tam, Ali, Ritti, and Nia. They're all from Centennial. Adelaide, Emily, Brady, and Violet, they're from Central. They each received a letter of commendation from the National Merit Corporation, and we couldn't be more proud of them. Let's give them a big round of applause. And next, we also want to celebrate 8 Novak Academy students who recently completed their graduation requirements. Congratulations to Ruby, Simone, Heaven, Zarian, Yazaria, Lauren, Bella, and Galdino. We wish them the absolute best. And October is National Principals Month, and we all know Unit 4 has the best principals leading our schools. These leaders go above and beyond every day to make sure our students are receiving exceptional educational experiences. Thank you to our principals. If you have a principal that you haven't thanked, be sure to do it during the month of October. Let's give them a round of applause. And we have a News Gazette Teacher of the Week. Congratulations to Miss Melanie Vasquez, who teaches English and Language Arts at Edison Middle School. Thanks for all you do, Miss Vasquez, and we appreciate you. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay, superintendent search. We still need your input, and FYI, Mr. Arnold referred to the number of surveys that have been filled out, and it's 568 thus far, and but we need everyone's input. This is really big for our community, so please use the QR code or visit our website. We have it in multiple places. It's on our social media. We really encourage every community member, student, staff member, family, please fill out the survey. Your input matters.
And Ms. Moore, if somebody's watching right now and they want to go fill that survey out right now, which would be great, if they go to our main webpage,
ChampaignSchools.org.
what's the next thing that they should do or see?
There's a button that says Superintendent Search right
That
there.
blue bar across the-
Or even the scrolling pictures across, there's a scrolling photo, and they can click that, and it'll take them straight to the survey as well.
Okay.
And finally, it's okay to ask for help. And Care Solace is available to all of our Unit 4 families and staff. And we just want to make sure that everyone knows about this free service to get connected for mental health and substance use providers. You can contact Care Solace at 888-515-0595 to get connected to care, to a source today. And that's all that I have for Celebrate Champaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
FOIA requests.
Yes. All right. Freedom of Information. As of October 1st, Justin Winnick from Starbridge Data requested purchase data. That was fulfilled in full September 5th. North American Procurement Council asked for marching band uniform design services, a bid tabulation, and that was pending and was due yesterday, and it was fulfilled. Ellen Byron requested ISB forms, ISB 34-38B and ISB 34.38A, and this request was fulfilled in full on September 5th. Ethan Ridgewell requested the executed contracts, amendments, or purchase agreements between Champaign Unit 4 School District and EduPoint Educational Systems for the Synergy Student Information System. Any invoices, purchases, or orders or payment records issued to or from EduPoint Educational Systems relating to Synergy SIS from January 1, 2023 to the present. That request has been fulfilled on September 9th. North American Procurement Council requested demographer services RFP. That was fulfilled October 1st. CT Mills from Public Info Access asked for core curriculum purchases, instructional technology, common assessment software. That request was fulfilled October 1st. Colleen Leinert requested 2025 occupancy application and temporary facility reports for the portable classrooms at both Jefferson and Franklin Middle Schools. That was fulfilled September 16th. And Marina Garcia, I am requesting records with the contractual rates for each vendor the district has contracted with for the following services: speech language pathologists, social workers, psychologists, behavior analysts, paraprofessionals, aides, registered behavior technicians. This request was fulfilled September 17th. Jacob Long from Public Data Research requested all current employee names, all current employee job titles, the employment start dates of all current employees. This was fulfilled September 12th. Laura Siga from Construction Connect requested Franklin STEAM Academy parking lot improvements, the bid tabulation for that. That is pending and is due October 23rd. CT Mills also requested the contract register, summary list, database export, or equivalent record maintained by the district that shows all contracts, agreements, or purchase orders entered into during 2024 and 2025. That is pending and is due October 24th. And that is the report for you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moore. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Sowers, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Arnold?
Yes.
Ms. Ahmed?
Excuse me. I raised my hand to speak.
I'm sorry?
I had raised my hand to speak on this.
Okay. I didn't see your hand raised. Let's pause the vote. We're going to go back because Mr. Hendricks wishes to discuss something on the agenda item. Mr. Hendricks.
Thank you. I just wanted to make mention from our last board meeting. I had sent information to Mr. Casillas, and he responded back to me, but also furthermore, he assured me by giving the information to the district attorneys as I requested. And with that being said, thank you. I want to make that publicly and say thank you for your due diligence on that, and also ensuring that my information was confirmed that I did state. And it's my hope that as a board and also with the board committee, when it comes to policy, that we are ensuring we're protecting all students regardless of demographics and populations. So I want that to be publicly said. So thank you again.
Any other discussion on the consent agenda? Ms. Sowers, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Arnold?
Yes.
Ms. Ahmed?
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Ms. Holder?
Yes.
Dr. Kang?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Board comments. Mr. Hendricks.
I will begin by saying, after hearing the TA speak, I want to just give my Shout outs to the paraprofessionals and teacher aides who are doing their due diligence in the classrooms every day, ensuring that our students are being well kept and supported, but also supporting our certified staff in our classrooms. While we have moved on from the SPED audit, I want to make mention that I had concerns when I wanted to make mention that I wanted to hear about misconduct and abuse, regardless if it was from a student or from a staff member. This is why we want to hear that information, so then that way we can best support both the students and the staffs in the buildings. So once again, though we moved on from the SPED audit, these are one of the things that I mentioned that should have been in the SPED audit for clarity, regardless of who's involved or what's involved. But in order for us to move forward in the best way possible, we must be transparent and honest with each other, so that way we can best put our best foot forwards as a district. Lastly, when it comes to the superintendent search, please make sure you continue to utilize the superintendent search firm survey. If you're a community leader, organization director, engagement advocate, educator, parent, or concerned neighbor or taxpayer, please complete the survey. Also, I want to encourage the students of the district to complete the survey as well. Some of you are leaving the district, staying in the district. You might have younger siblings, or you care about a teacher in the building. Please ensure that we also have accommodating locations and group input, so please contact the district about your concerns if you are not feeling that you are heard or your community is not being input when it comes to these conversations. Thank you.
Anybody else? I just want to, again, thank those of you who are here in the audience and those of you who are watching at home for your patience this evening. The board called this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m., and we went back to closed session for more than an hour. And as is our responsibility, but it can be frustrating when you're watching a meeting or you're here away from your families and the board leaves for so long. We have two closed sessions on the agenda for this evening, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting. We have a lot on our plate still for the end of the meeting, and we would have put this discussion about the superintendent search organization at the back of the meeting, but before having Mr. Guerra come out and address our community publicly, we wanted to have our questions answered with the benefit of our attorney present to make sure we were staying within the bounds of the Open Meetings Act as we met with him in the back. So that's why we did it at the beginning. I'm sorry it took so long. I appreciate your patience. We don't take your time for granted. With that, does any other board member have any other board comments? Okay. Speaking of closed sessions, well, let me just announce that our next scheduled regular board meeting is 2 weeks from today, Monday, October 20 at 5:30 p.m. And did I get that wrong? 20. I'm sorry. October 22nd? 27. Got it. Well, so much for clarity. What is it, Dan? October 27?
October 27th.
Very good. Okay. Which is 21 days from today.
And our board policy committee meeting is October 20th.
Very good. Okay.
And finance the 22nd. So you had the right dates, just the wrong title.
My apologies. Okay. I want to point out to the public that in the past, our agendas have identified a window of time at the beginning of the meeting where we have executive session. It's really called closed session. But I was kind of concerned that if we promised that that's the 30-minute window it was going to take place in, we could give people the wrong expectations. So we've removed that time window from our agendas. So our future meetings are going to start at 5:30, and if we have executive session business, we'll do it just like we did tonight. And if we don't have executive session business, that's something we might not know until right before the meeting. We leave ourselves some option there to go into closed session because things sometimes come up at the last minute. So we're going to keep including the closed session on our agendas, but the public should know that we're going to start these meetings at 5:30, and if we don't have any business to take up, we're going to go right down the agenda. Okay. We have some more business to take up this evening in closed session. That business includes litigation, discussion of specific employees, collective bargaining. Have I missed anything? Okay. We're going to retire to closed session in accordance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 120/2C. Is there a motion that we do so?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Armstrong, seconded by Dr. Kang. Ms. Sowers, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Armstrong?
Yes.
Dr. Kang?
Yes.
Ms. Ahmed?
Yes.
Ms. Arnold?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Ms. Holder?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
It's 7:53 PM, and we are now adjourning to closed session. We have no business to take up when we emerge from closed session. We won't be taking any votes. We won't be conducting any business. You're welcome to stay, but there won't be much to see. Thank you all for coming.